Recently, since we created Transforming Grace online, I've encountered a couple of questions. I have thousands of friends on Facebook, and I am glad and honored to be connected with every one of you. But nobody on Facebook has asked this question yet, but some people have asked it in person, which means I'm guessing there are other people who have this question in their head, and they just haven't quite asked it yet. So here was the question I was asked. In all the time that I've known you, you've talked about leadership and vision and communication. You've talked about the power of your testimony, and that's been a sweet spot for you, but it's also been a passion of your heart. And now all of a sudden, up comes this Transforming Grace online and the talk against pornography and all these other things that you're doing. And I'm just curious, have you changed directions? Have you changed tracks? What gives? So I want to answer that question as honestly as I can. Pornography in my life has been a 30-year journey. 20 years of that as an addict and a slave. The last 10 years of that in victory, in living in freedom. Not a bond slave of pornography, but instead a slave to Christ, a slave of freedom, a slave to righteousness. And that's really what I want. So why the attack on pornography now? Well, as I talk more about leadership, as I speak more to pastors and ministers and organizational leaders, one of the things that I find is that a lot of them are still harboring some secret challenges they don't want to talk about. When we had our conference this last weekend, we had people who came in from Canada and even from West Texas as pastors who were leading organizations and saying, man, we still need some help with this. We need some direction. So I haven't swayed from the path of leadership or communication or vision. In fact, what I do find is this to be true. The power of our testimony is the power that we have to express the victory in overcoming. The word says we overcome the evil one by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And when our testimony is tainted because we still have these secret sins inside, when our heart's not pure and our hands are not clean, our testimony doesn't have what it should. And when our testimony doesn't have what it should, as leaders, we don't have the ability to lead in the way that we could. Whether that's leading at home, leading in a ministry, leading an organization, leading on the job, our influence is diminished. The law of the lid begins to take place. And as John Maxwell says, your organization, your success will never rise above the level of your lid. This is not a new angle for me. It's just one more area that I see the ability to set some people free, to raise the level of their leadership and raise the level of their lid. So if you know people who are being challenged, whether their addiction is with pornography or chocolate or online video games or disastrous relationships, we would love to spend some time working with them. On Excellent Life Leadership, there's actually a 9-week video series called The 9 Lessons of Mastery that will walk you through a lot of that stuff. We would love to serve you in any way that we can. But don't think that we've strayed from the path. Leadership is still the most important thing in my life. Following Christ and being a servant is numero uno. But I also understand that sometimes we have challenges and battles that seem to creep up behind us and stop us from doing what we're called to do. I would love to help you with your testimony. I would love to be a part of your life to see you find the victory and become a slave to righteousness and not a slave to the things that hunt you down from behind in the darkness. Let's bring those issues into the light and let them be redeemed and restored. Thanks for your time. Love to see you soon.